Today we're going to solve for a quadratic and we're going to be given 3 points. So we need a minimum of 3 points that lie on a quadratic function in order to formulate the equation. We're going to use a system of equations as our approach to write this equation. And we're going to use the standard form. When we say standard form, this is the form we're talking about. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. So we're going to use the standard form and the given points to create this equation, a quadratic equation. Okay? So let's try it. Here, we were given 3 points. We need a minimum of 3 points to formulate a quadratic equation. We're going to use the standard form. So let me write the standard form for you again. And it's y equals. Okay. So we're going to plug our points into the standard form. Go ahead and label each point as this is your x value, this one's your y value. This is x, this is y. This one's x, this one's y. So for my first equation, when I set it up, I'm going to put y equals. So in this case, y is -4. So it will be -4 equals a. And instead of x, what do you think I'm going to put inside the parentheses? -3, that's the x value. Good. We'll continue copying the standard form. Again, for the x value, I'm going to put -3 and then plus c. We're going to do that for all 3 of these points. So for the second point, this is the y value. So I'm going to put 6 equals a. This is the standard form. I'm going to plug in a 2 for all of those x values. The same way for the last point. The y value is 24, the x value is 4. I'm going to plug that into the quadratic equation. Okay, so I'm going to plug in 4s for those x values. Okay, so that's step 1, just setting it up. Now let's do step 2. We're going to simplify the equations. So let's simplify. Let's simplify this first one. So the first one will be -4 equals, what's -3 squared? 9. So that will become 9a. 3 times negative b, or b times -3 is -3b. And then I have plus c. So that is that first equation simplified. Let's do the second one. It'll be 6 equals 2 squared is 4. So this will become 4a. B times 2 is just 2b plus c. And then my final equation will be 24 equals 4 squared is 16, so this will be 16a. B times 4 is just 4b, and then plus c. Okay, so far all we did was plug in all 3 points into the standard form. And then we simplified it. Okay, now we're going to solve the system. Okay, we're going to do what we did a few months ago. So we're going to be using a system of equations. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to cancel out the c values. What I'm going to do is multiply this top equation by a -1. What this will become is a +4, -9a, +3b, and a -c. Because I multiplied it, the whole thing, by a -1. I'm going to copy down the second equation right here. I'm just going to move it over. Do you guys see what will cancel out if I add these 2 equations? The c's. I have a -c and a +c. Those will cancel out. Let's go ahead and add the whole thing together. 4 plus 6, that gives me 10. Negative 9 plus 4 will give me negative 5. Don't forget the A. 3b plus 2b is 5b. So this is one of the equations I'm going to deal with. Now we need to choose two different ones. We're going to choose two different equations. Okay, what do you guys like to do? Well, we already multiplied the top one by negative 1. So let's just use the top one again. So this is 4 equals negative 9a plus 3b minus c. That's this top equation multiplied by negative 1. This time, let's add it to this one. The c's will cancel out again. This is 24 equals 16a plus 4b plus c. So let me show you. We first use these top two equations. Now I'm using the top one and the bottom one. We need two new equations. Those cancel. We're going to add 24 plus 4 is 28. Negative 9a and 16, what is that? 7a plus 3b plus 4b, what is that? 7b. So these are my two new equations. From here, you can either use substitution or elimination. And I believe substitution might be the easiest. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to have to solve for a variable. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this over. I'm going to subtract 7b. Subtract 7b. What I am left with is 28 minus 7b equals 7a. Now, let's solve for a. What do I have to do to everything? Divide by 7. Divide by 7. Those 7s will cancel. So I am left with 28 divided by 7 is 4 minus these 7s cancel, giving me b, and those 7s canceled, leaving me with a. Since I know what a is, I'm going to plug this into this. Okay, so let's look at how that is done. So I have 10 equals negative 5. Instead of writing a from this a right here, instead of writing a, we're going to plug this in. So this will be 4 minus b. And then continue copying. Plus 5b. Okay, now just solve for b. We get 10 equals negative 5 times 4, that's negative 20. Negative 5 times negative b, that's positive 5b plus 5b. 5b and 5b, that's just 10b. Okay, let's go ahead and add 20 both sides. So I get 30 equals 10b. Now we're going to divide both sides by 10. So we get b is 3. How do I figure out what a is? Substitute it into here, plug it into here. So what do you think a is? 1. Plug in a 3 right here, because b is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I know that a is 1. How do I figure out what c is? You can plug it back into one of these problems, any of these problems. They all have a c in them. So I'm just going to pick one. I'll just use this top one up here. Let's just use this one right here in the middle. So we know what A is. A is just 1. So I'll put a 1 there. I know B is, what did we say B was? 3. So I'll just put a 3 there. Okay, and we'll figure out what this C is. So I get 6 equals 1 times 2 squared is 4. So this is just 4 plus 3 times 2 is 6 plus C. This is 6 equals 4 plus 6, that's 10 plus C. And then we subtract 10 from both sides. So we get C is equal to 6 minus 10 is negative 4. So we found our A, B, and C value. Okay, so remember our goal of this was to write an equation, a quadratic equation. So let me give you the standard form again. The standard form is, don't write this down, just look. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, we figured out what A is. We said A was 1. We figured out what A, B, and C was. We said A was 1, B was 3, and we said C is negative 4. So this is your quadratic equation. We figured out the A, B, and C values. So that's what we put back here. Substitute the values of A, B, and C into the general form. This was A equals x squared plus 3x minus 4. Because A was 1, B was 3, C was negative 4. So we put those values in. Let's go ahead and label these points on our graph. This point right here is 0, negative 3. This point down here is 2, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. And this point right here is 3, 0. We're going to do the exact same thing. Remember, we're always using the standard form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so let's do our first one. This is x, this is y. So your y value is negative 3. So I'm going to plug in a negative 3. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Our x value is 0. So we're going to be plugging in zeros. Let's do the other one. My y value is negative 5. So that would be negative 5 equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We're going to plug in a 2 for those x values. Okay, last one. This is x and y. So your y value is 0. We're going to plug in 3s for those x's. So this will be 3 and 3. All right, so let's simplify it. Let's simplify. Okay, so I get negative 3 equals, that's 0, that's 0, c. That was nice. Let's simplify the next one. Negative 5 equals 2 squared, that's 4a, plus 2b, and my c value is negative 3, so I'll just plug in a negative 3. And let's do the last one. 0 equals 9a plus 3b, because 3 squared is 9, that's how I get 9a. B times 3 is 3b. And then my c value, we said was negative 3, so I'll just put minus 3 on the back. Yes.
So, and because like,
I'm going to simplify this one, so I'm going to go here. Actually, how about we move left to right? So I'm going to come down here. I get -5 equals 4a plus 2b minus 3. What can I do? I'm going to move this -3 over. So add a 3 to both sides. And this equation will become 2, -2, equals 4a plus 2b. That's one of the equations I'm going to work with. Put a star by it. We got it down to 2 variables, a and b. Let's do the same thing for this one. What would you do? You would just add 3, that cancels. So for this one, I have 3 equals 9a plus 3b. So these are your 2 equations. Put stars by them. This is what we're working with now. You can use either elimination or substitution. I think for these, substitution would be best. So let's go ahead and solve for these. I'm going to solve for b. So I'm going to subtract 4a from both sides. I'm solving for b, so I'll just write that down. We are solving for b. Solve for b. So I am left with -2 minus 4a equals 2b. What is the final thing I have to do to solve for b? Yep, divide by 2. So divide every single thing by 2. So that those 2's cancel. -2 divided by 2 is -1. -4 divided by 2 is -2 with an a. So I solved for b. Okay, so let's plug this b value into this b. So let's do that. Let's see how that would look. Copy down the 3 equals 9a. Copy that down, so I'm going to write it again. 3 equals 9a plus, copy down this 3, but instead of the b, we're going to plug this in. So I'll do that in a different color. This is -1 minus 2a. And let's just solve. 3 equals 9a minus 3 minus 6a. I can move this 3 over, so add 3. This becomes 6 equals 9a minus 6a. 9a minus 6a is 3a. And then we divide both sides by 3. So a is 2. How do I figure out what b is? Yep, you can plug it in. You can plug it into any of these starred equations. I'm going to plug it into this simpler one down here. So let's see what that would look like. Instead of this a, I'm going to plug in 2. We just said a was 2. So I get -1 minus 4 equals b. So what is b? -5. Thank you. All right, so I found a, b, and c. C was given to us in the very beginning. So we're going to formulate our quadratic equation. So I'll just substitute it up here. We get y equals, our a value was 2. Our b value, we said, was -5. So this will be minus 5x. And our c value was -3. This is our quadratic equation, given those 3 points. So if you're given 3 points, you can figure out what the quadratic equation is. So that's your answer. I want you guys to try it with this table. Remember, guys, f of x just stands for y. So you're given your 3 points again. Those are your 3 points. They're just given in a table, okay? So you guys try. Okay, so these are your points. I'm going to do 12 equals, because that's my y value, a x squared plus bx plus c. I'm going to plug in negative 5s for the x's. Next one, I have negative 8 equals. I'm plugging in zeros for the x's. Finally, it's going to be 4 equals a x squared plus bx plus c. I'm plugging in 3s for the x values. So let's go ahead and simplify this. This will become 12 equals 5 squared is 25a. This is minus 5b plus c. This one, this cancels and that cancels because that's just 0. I'm left with negative 8 is c. And then this will become 9. So this is 4 equals 9a plus 3b plus c. Guys, since I already know what c is, let's go ahead and plug those in. So I know that c is negative 8. So I'm going to plug that in right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify these problems. You should have added 8 to both sides. So 12 plus 8 is 20. So you get 20 equals 25a minus 5b. That's one of your equations. And then if you add 8 on both sides here, you'll get 12 equals 9a plus 3b. So these are our two equations that we're working with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use substitution. I'm just going to use this top one. Let's move this 25 over to this side. So this will be 20 minus 25a equals negative 5b, because I moved the 25 over. Let me write that better. Okay, now you just divide everything by negative 5. So 20 divided by negative 5 is negative 4. 25 divided by negative 5 is a positive 5a equals b. So let's plug that into here. So I'll have 12 equals 9a plus 3 times your b value is negative 4 plus 5a. Now we just solve. So we get 12 equals 9a minus 12 plus 15a. Now we'll add 12 to both sides. We get 24. What's 9a plus 15a? 24a. And then we'll divide both sides by 24. So you get a is 1. Perfect. We're going to plug this a value into here. Plug in a 1. So you will get negative 4 plus 5 equals b. So negative 4 plus 5 is 1. So b is also 1. So we found a, b, and c. I saw a lot of people just stop right here. We have to write a quadratic equation. It says use the systems approach to model this relationship as a quadratic function. So that would be f of x equals, your a value is 1, so 1x squared, plus your b value is 1, 1x. Your c value was negative 8, negative 8. And of course, you don't have to write those ones. I just did that so you could see me plugging it in. So this is x squared plus x minus 8. That is your answer.